museum project coordinator here. And thank you for spending your Saturday here with us. We have something very special today, a presentation that I'm sure that you're going to be entertained as well as educated. But before we introduce our special guest, I'd like to tell you a little bit about this institution. We are a research institution for African American history and culture for departments here. We have a library, which is non-circulating, which means you can check books out here. However, if you see a title that you're interested in, we can go into our database and check with the other libraries in the city of Oakland and hold that book for you so you can pick it up at your convenience. We are so happy and excited for this event that has been advertised on the OPL website. Keep in mind, we are a branch of the Oakland Public Library. A lot of people don't know that. But we are the only research institution, so it makes us very special. Our reference library, as I said, has many titles, over 16,000 titles in our reference library, and growing. We also have a rare book collection. The rare book collection is, I believe, the oldest book is 1815. It is not a book written by an African American, but it is a book where the Navy captain who wrote the book talks about an African American that he calls the cook. So I call him the chef, because in the book he creates different meals for the entire ship crew. So that is our oldest book. The rare book collection, you won't see it. We do bring it out on occasions. We are having an open house on February the 22nd, the last Saturday of February. We'll have an open house, and it starts at 10:30. On that day, we'll bring out collections that you won't normally see. They will be on display in our archives department. So make a note of that. It starts at 10:30 and it'll go to 5:30. Now, getting back to our next department, which is the archives department, we have over 200 collections, and once again, and growing. Collections like Ron Dellis, when he was in Congress for over 20-some years. We also have Henry Delton Williams, the Motown designer, legendary Motown designer, who came to Oakland when he was 7 years old, found a job here as a paper boy. And he went on and went to Lady College, then went on to design school in Southern Cal, and happened to design a beautiful garment, hand-beaded gold garment for a lady who was going to attend the Motown Gala. And did he get lucky or what? One of the executives from Motown saw the lady and said, "What designer is that?" And she said, "Henry Delton Williams." So the executive never heard of him. And then so the lady said, "Well, you will." Says, "Here's my card. Give this card to Mr. Henry Delton Williams and tell him to come see me as soon as possible." So he did. Then he became their top designer, creating garments such as for Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, and what do you know, Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5. And he went on to start designing for movies, Fred Williamson and Richard Pryor. Now, some of you may not know these people, but some of you, I know you remember Richard Pryor, Fred Williamson. That was an amazing era, the Motown era. So he has a lot of wonderful designs, which these designs are here in the archives department. Keep in mind, all the collections here are in acid-free sleeves, boxes, and the garment bags that we put Henry Delton Williams. Beautiful designs there. Each of those garments run us about $300 or $400 per garment bag. So you know, preserving African American history and culture does not come cheap. It's very expensive, but we know it's worth it all. Am I right?
Amen.
That's what we do. That's what we do. So, the archives department also had, what about Ida Jackson, the first African-American school teacher in the Oakland Unified School District, her collection here. And then you have Maury Turner. He's a legend, a cartoonist. His collection is here. He created the Bleak House. We started with, they featured it in the Tribune and also in other local papers here. So you're talking a rich history of wonderful African Americans that contributed to what we call this beautiful archives that we have in this institution. Now, the latest department, which has been over 6 years now, is the Seedling Library. The Seedling Library, just what it says. You can come in and get your seeds for free to the community. Take these seeds home, grow them in small containers or large containers, and then if they go to seed, maybe if you feel like it, you'll bring us some seeds back. So that's why we call it AAMLO Seed Blending Library. All seeds are free to the public. Last but not least, this beautiful gallery here. We host some traveling exhibitions, but most of the exhibitions that you're going to see here are going to be created by the chief curator and myself. This is what we do because it's part of our job, and we enjoy creating history, entertaining you, but also educating you at the same time. This, what you see here, is our permanent exhibit. These huge banners. How do you like these huge, thick banners? Yes, these are people from Oakland. Visions to Art Tomorrow is a permanent exhibit. History of Oakland, begin with the 1800s. So you have kiosks on my left, my right, East Wing, West Wing, and you have audio and visual that you can actually listen to people talk about why they migrated, or if they were born and raised here, why they're staying here, or what they feel about Oakland. The ups and downs of Oakland that they have experienced. So you get to hear live history on these kiosks. And today, we have an artist here, artist collection, beyond Kennedy's art collection here, which our chief curator is curating. And so he'll probably talk to you a little bit about that too as well. So that just gives you a brief overview of what we're all about. And I would like to introduce you to the chief curator because I see he's in the audience. Put your hands together. It's Bobby Dickerson, our chief curator.
All right. All right.
Well, thank you for clapping, but it's not necessary. Let me say thank you for coming out today, and we are going to have a dynamic time today. We have an artist extraordinaire with us, or two artists extraordinaire with us this afternoon. And there are copies of her book as well that's on the table right behind you. And so without any further ado on my part, I'm going to give this microphone back to you, Eva. Thank you.
You done? You know, okay. I know this is
Don't put a microphone in my hand.
Thank you, Mother Dilly. Okay, so now we want to introduce our guests. And we have our library assistant here, Marco Frazier, who is also like my right hand putting these events together. And he's going to tell you a little bit about our special guest, Marco.
Thank you, and welcome again everyone to African American Museum and Library. So we have Zakiyyah G.E. Capehart. She's a poet and storyteller, performance artist, visual artist, radio producer, and host. Her poetry is published in numerous anthologies nationally and internationally. Leveraging artistic skills as well as medical and alternative medical background. Zakiyyah is passionate about creating productions to heal communities. Her radio show aired on KPFA 94.1 FM in Berkeley and on the website kpfa.org. the author of Ghana on My Mind, Poetic Reflections on Journeying to the Motherland, which has been a #1 bestseller in African poetry on Amazon. She has collaborated with her incredibly cognitive 100-year-old uncle to publish and write a book documenting their family history. Zakiyyah is the co-founder of the music poetry ensemble To Be New Cultural Gatherers. And then we have Bryant Bolling, who holds a BS degree in music education and a master's degree in musicology from Morgan State University. He completed research studies in Jamaica. The thesis produced from the study is entitled A Historical Perspective and Rastafarian Music. Mr. Bolling has been commissioned by the Maryland State AIDS Administration and the Baltimore City Health Department to write, direct, and perform a rap musical on HIV and AIDS. A Time for Life, We're Protecting Our Souls Against AIDS is the name of the production. While living in Baltimore, Maryland, he worked as an adjunct professor at Sojourner Douglas College, where he was awarded a Fulbright Hayes Scholarship to study in Kenya and Tanzania, East Africa. Residing now in California, he is the band leader for the Bryant Bolling Jazz Trio, the musical director of Mr. B's Royal Ragtime Review, and the street performer Mr. B in the Singing Horde. Mr. Bolling is currently working on publishing his book, The Whole World is a Stage. With that, put your hands together for the two.
And speak both of us if you can.
Good afternoon. I'm so glad to see all of you here today for this occasion. I'd like to thank Vida Silva, Program Coordinator, and Brother Bamadelli, Head Curator, for this, and the staff as well, for this opportunity to be with you today. Furthermore, we'd like to thank all of you for joining us today. My husband, Bryant, Mr. B. Bolling, vocalist, keyboardist, has composed all the songs to complement my poems and stories that I will read to you today. My book, entitled Ghana on My Mind, Poetic Reflections on Journeying to the Motherland. After the performance, we will have a Q&A. So hold your questions. We are interested in hearing all that you have to ask us. Preceding that, we will have a book signing. So please join us at that time also. So right now, we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the program. Also, I want to add that I am Zakiyyah G.E. Capehart Bolling.
And I'm Bryant B. Bolling, Mr.
And-
B. Bolling.
And we are the To Be New Cultural Gatherers.
I give praise to the warrior king for calling us home to find out true history. Calling the people from over land and sea. Calling us home. Calling us home. For many a years we've been in captivity, lost, stolen, and strayed from our true destiny. Now is the time to find our true identity. Calling us home. Calling us home. Oh, warrior king, we salute you for being the first to call us home. We were lost, stolen, and strayed. We were scattered, but it's time for us to come home.
Traveling by air across the sea, journey of a lifetime, finally coming to be. Land of my ancestors, history awaits, unveiling roots, opening wounds where scars are left to heal, weaving spirits and touching souls. Ghana, oh Ghana, constantly on my mind. When I arrive, what do I hope to find? Will you be there, waiting to welcome and receive me with embracing arms? Will I feel your love running through me until my cup runneth over? Here I sit, staring out at clouds, silently praying, Ghana, oh Ghana, your distant, disconnected family is now returning home to a country once thought of as the land of no return.
I give praise to the warrior king for calling us home to find our true history, calling the people from over land and sea, calling us home. Calling us home. Calling us home. Calling us
Thank you. So the first piece was entitled Praise to the Warrior King, Bryant's song, and my poem was entitled Ghana, O Ghana.
I was asked as an elder to offer up a prayer. We were down in Cape Coast dungeons, and the spirit of our ancestors were there. And we heard from the spirits the cries and the yearns as they went through the door of no return. Everyone there among us knew exactly how they felt, being trapped down in this dungeon where they couldn't help themselves. Some souls didn't make it, strong they stood firm as they went through the door of no return. The door of no return. Door of no return. We heard from our ancestors their cries and their yearn. Some souls didn't make it, but the strong they stood firm as they went through the door of no return.
We visited the enslavement dungeons, and it was absolutely heart-wrenching to see where our ancestors were held captive in Ghana on the Atlantic Ocean, right on the beautiful coast of Elmina and Cape Coast. The Europeans built the dungeons and called them castles. In those extremely small, dark, and damp dungeons, our ancestors were chained, shackled, and locked up. The only light that entered from the outside was through a tiny hole on the ground level. Hundreds of Africans were packed on top of one another in those dungeons where they ate, defecated, and slept. They did not receive any sunshine, adequate air, or exercise. Then, after months of stewing in those horrible prisons, they were thrown into the bows of a ship sailing to a new country. I walked around the tiny space that used to cage hundreds of our ancestors. There were only 10 of us in our group, and yet even we had barely enough space to move around. I looked closely at the inhumane, rock-hard walls, floor, and ceiling. I imagined their suffering. My eyes swelled with water, but I was so overwhelmed with shock that my tears didn't fall. We knew the ancestors were present. We visited with their spirits and shared the food we brought to feed them. During the libation ceremony, we prayed and meditated while calling out their names. Sister Amicus, our guide, asked for the elders in the group to step forward and give homage to our ancestors. Being the eldest, I stepped forward. I didn't know I would be called upon to speak, and I had no idea what to say. But the words came and flowed effortlessly from my mouth. Honoring our ancestors was a spiritual epitome for me, an auspicious moment in time. I was very blessed and very thankful to have such privilege and freedom.
The door of no return. Door of no return. We heard from our ancestors, they crossed and they yearned. Some souls didn't make it, the strong they stood firm as they went through
The door of no return.
no return.
No return. Thank you so much. So Bryant's song was The Door of No Return. And my poem, actually, my story, short story, is entitled Stepping into My Elderhood at the Enslavement Dungeons.
I like the coconut tree. Sweet juice, good for me body. Climb right up and cut you a nut from the coconut tree. I like the coconut tree. Sweet juice, good for me body. Climb right up and cut you a nut from the coconut tree. Coconut, coconut, we like the coconut, coconut, coconut tree. Climb right up and cut you a nut from the coconut tree.
Never had a coconut straight from the tree. The young boy said he'd get one for me. Up he climbed, courageously, gallantly, swiftly. Down he came, coconut in hand. Machete cut it and gave me my first drink of fresh coconut water. So refreshing, delicious and energizing. Fruit, smooth, soft, easy, melted in my mouth.
Coconut, coconut, we like the coconut, coconut, coconut tree. Climb right up and cut you a nut from the coconut tree. A nut from the coconut tree. A nut from the coconut tree.
Okay. Thank you. So, my poem was entitled The Coconut Tree. And Bryant, your song was entitled
I like the coconut.
Okay, I like the coconut tree. Bryant's song. Meditate by Ghana's ocean, embracing my culture, celebrating with family, speaking my native language. I thought I had forgotten, but it's in my DNA where nothing is lost, just lying dormant, awaiting acknowledgement to rise again from my ocean within. That was Clear Like Water, my poem. And Bryant will tell you the name of his song.
Water Be Still.
Water Be Still.
Took a walk on a Canadian beach one bright and sunny day. Came across a fishing village and they invited us to stay. Fish away, that bright and sunny day. Fish away, fish away. That's what the fishermen say. As we sat upon the rocks and watched the children pray, breeze blew gently from the mountaintops that bright and sunny day. Fish away, fish away. That's what the fishermen say. Fish away, fish away. On that bright and sunny day.
Our supposed visit to Agana Beach in Accra had been rescheduled quite a few times. When the visit finally went through, we found that all the effort was worth it. As soon as we got there, we placed our lunch orders in a cafe that reminded me of a fish and chips place I used to frequent in Harlem, New York. The delectable aromas emanating from the wild, freshly caught fish tantalized my palate and gave me a deeper appreciation of my sense of smell. That Harlem cafe could not hold a candle to the fresh fish at this Canadian cafe. While waiting for our food to arrive, we talked over the rest of our plans in Accra before we head to Cape Coast. Some of us decided to take a stroll along the shore. Tyrese and Nate found a scenic spot on the rocks facing the ocean where they stopped and sat to enjoy Ghana's beautiful ocean view. Adeshima and I preferred to walk, dodging the waves along the way. Soon we arrived at a Canadian fishing village, just when the fishermen and women were returning with their morning catch. They exhibited wonderful cooperation and collective camaraderie as they got the boats on shore. Whenever a boat would come in, the people on the shore would gather and pull the boat out of the water. Their rhythm and timing were amazingly in sync. It was astonishing to watch. When the nets were pulled from the boat and dropped on the shore, they were bursting with hundreds of fish. The boats were constantly arriving. The villagers were unrelenting in assisting one another. The children played and worked alongside the adults. There was jovial conversation and laughter, and so much love and respect. Watching them inspired me beyond my expectations. After frolicking along the beach shore, we walked back to join the other poets for lunch. I smiled, reflecting on my lovely day. I was so smitten by the experience that I would not have minded spending the day on the beach, just savoring the seafood. Then I submerged myself into the ocean and enjoyed jumping the waves.
Fish away, fish away, that bright and sunny day. Fish away, fish away, that's what the fishermen say on that bright and sunny day. On that bright and sunny day.
The right song was called Fish Away, and my poem, my story, is entitled Canadian Fishing Village. And I hope you all enjoy yourselves. Okay.
Smells and sounds, lots of people all around at the marketplace. Mama bends to the boss, got the wonderful cloth at the marketplace. You'll be astounded just being in this place. You will be surrounded with the beauty and its grace when you come to shop and eat at the marketplace. Marketplace. Pots and pans, lots of money changing hands at the marketplace. Dish and towels and coats and cows at the marketplace. You will be amazed. Walking through the stalls, anything you need, you can find it all when you come to shop and eat at the marketplace.
When we were asked on what day we wanted to go to the market, I was silent. When the other poets were deciding which market excited them most, I was silent. I was quiet because I wasn't planning to go to the market. Unlike most women, I detest shopping. Where I am from, the women absolutely crave shopping. As an African American woman, I speak of the culture in the USA that drives this behavior. I make it a point to only shop when necessary. However, when the group's market day arrived, I decided to go with the group. We were to stop at the art market first, and then head for the Makola Market, Ghana's largest renowned marketplace and shopping district, located in the center of Ghana's capital, Accra. Shopping in the land of my ancestors was a genuine cultural occasion. The no-frills sidewalk shops, mostly owned and operated by indigenous Ghanaian women, are filled with luxurious fabrics, clothing, jewelry, and other fine wares. The stunning garments graced the market like a captivating homegrown dance. The market was also a great place to enjoy local food. The hustle and bustle were a joy to watch too, as we mingled with shoppers dressed in extravagant clothing, reminiscent of the fine, lavish dressing styles of African Americans during the Harlem Renaissance. I saw two gorgeous dresses I wanted, but the seller was selling. She was charging more for the dresses than I could pay. I told her I would buy both dresses for a lower price. We negotiated prices for a while until we agreed on what was acceptable. I was only going to buy one dress, but after haggling with the seller, she agreed to lower the price, enabling me to purchase both dresses. It is empowering to have a voice in purchasing clothing and such. One can literally spend the entire day at the market, treasuring the unique sounds and sights. An exceptional experience. Market day should not be missed.
Fish and rice with a salad would be nice at the marketplace. Beef, brown stew, and food for you at the marketplace. You will be invited to dine at this place. You will be excited with the choices you can make when you come and shop and eat at the marketplace. 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 Marketplace.
Thank you. So if you didn't guess, Bryant's song is entitled Marketplace. And my poem, my story actually is entitled Market Day. Traveling down the road, traveling down the road, traveling down the road, traveling down the road.
Traveling down the road in West Africa.
Traveling down the road,
On the highway in Ghana.
traveling down the road,
Moving forward to Elmina.
traveling down the road.
Gonna spend time with the spirits of our ancestors. There in Elmina, there's a place called the Cape Coast Castle.
Visit our ancestors,
There in the desert, they force out people to stay.
visit our ancestors.
Be coming back to Ghana to sojourn with their spirits.
Visit our ancestors.
Food and water and flowers will kneel and pray.
With food and water and flowers we'll kneel and pray. Traveling down the road, traveling down the road, traveling down the road, traveling down the road. Circumstances dictated limited quarters. However, commuting by bus gave us poets an opportunity to dove, inquire, and discover more about Ghana. On those commutes, we poets got to know each other a little better. We talked a lot. Sometimes we ate more than we talked. on longer bus rides, like traveling from Accra to Cape Coast. We got to catch up on some much appreciated rest because napping was part of the agenda as well. But in the end, we all developed a family-like closeness with one another. Essentially, observing and conversing with Canadians, enjoying the country's breathtaking sights, and taking notice of the changing architecture gave us an understanding of Ghana we never gained in the USA. The panoramic view from the bus showed the country's raw, natural beauty. Traveling to and around Ghana was an invaluable education, one that will live forever in my memory. Traveling down the road, traveling down the road, traveling down the road, traveling down the road.
Traveling down the road in West Africa.
Traveling down the road,
On the highway in Ghana.
traveling down the road,
Moving forward to Elmina.
traveling down the road.
Gonna spend time with the spirits of our ancestors. Dedicating castles at the door called the door of no return.
Visit our ancestors,
Coming back to Ghana to prove that they are wrong.
visit our ancestors,
We flew thousands miles across the ocean just to be here.
visit our ancestors.
We coming back proud, free, black and strong. Coming back proud, free, black and strong.
Traveling down the road, 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 traveling down the road. Thank you so much. So, Bryant's song was entitled Bryant.
Going to Elmina.
Yes, and my poem is entitled, actually that's a short story too, On the Bus. Is the entitlement for that.
When I look upon your billboards, I see Ghana people looking like me, with their broad nose, dark skin, big smiles, makes me go wild. That's where I wanna be, where the people look like me. Looking like me. In the US I don't feel the same. It's all a big money game, making black folks take all the shame. Always trying to give us some blame. It's about to drive me insane. But in Ghana, I feel free, 'cause the people look like me. Looking like me.
Traveling by bus, it was marvelous to see on every billboard the people looked like me. I kept watching if this scenario would change, because where I live, the difference creates pain. Too sad to explain. The billboards from the bus windows gave me such delight. I emerged in wonderment instead of fright. Looking at faces of black people on billboards riding along the highway made me feel proud, elevated my self-esteem, connected me closer to the Canadian people and my ancestors.
When I look upon your billboards, I see Ghana people looking like me, with a broad nose, dark skin, big smiles, makes me go wild. That's where I wanna be, where the people look like me, looking like me. That's where I wanna be. People looking like me. Hey, hey, hey. Hey. People looking like me.
My poem is entitled The Billboards. And Bryant's going to tell you the name of his song.
People look like me.
Farewell, goodbye, so long.
I'm gonna leave your lovely faces in the dark.
Farewell, goodbye, so long.
I'm gonna honor you, dear Ghana, with the song. The time has come to leave it. It's time for us to part. Taking with you a part of me deep inside my heart. You treated us like family, with love from an open door. Keep loving me, Ghana, 'cause I'm coming back for more. Farewell,
goodbye, so long.
I'm gonna leave your lovely faces in the dark. Farewell, goodbye, so long. I'm gonna honor you, dear Ghana, with the song.
When it was time to go, I wanted to know, was it really already time? And was I saying goodbye, farewell, or so long? Parting felt like leaving a friend. I desired to stay, but knew my journey had come to an end. Feeling torn within, I hold on to my memories until I return again.
Farewell, goodbye, so long. I'm gonna leave your lovely faces in the dark. Farewell, goodbye, so long. I'm gonna honor you, dear Ghana, with the song. Farewell, goodbye, so long. I'm gonna leave your lovely faces in the dark. Farewell, goodbye, so long. We're gonna honor you, dear Ghana, with this song. Keep loving us, Ghana, 'cause we're coming back for more. Ghana, Ghana, it's you that I adore.
So Bryant's song is entitled Ghana Farewell Song. My poem is entitled Goodbye, Farewell, So Long.
Thank you, family, for coming out and hearing our program. We would like to, at this time, take any questions or comments you might have about the presentation. If you have some. All right, well, thank you again. Right now, if you are interested in purchasing a book, okay, we have Mr. Bomadelli. Are you coming up, Mr. All right.
Well, I want to say thank you to Tubinu, and let's all give them a round of resounding applause. I did have a reaction. This transported me back to Ghana. Looking at the photographs, listening to the songs, and listening to the poems, there's a way of going back and introducing for those who have not gone to Ghana. It's really a cultural treat, and I want to say thank you for that. I noticed some of the people, I know who specifically from One Africa, and pleased to see her in the presentation. But are there any memories that you have yet to record? And I'm thinking, for example, when I went to, the first time that I went to Ghana, and this was 1971 or 72, so over 50 years ago, Cape Coast Dungeon was being used as a prison. And so there has been some debate over the years on the usage of these, what are now considered cultural properties that are part of the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board. And so, what was the reaction of to your group to those spaces? because one is used as a dance hall, another is one of these other castles or entrepôts. Ghana has about 58 along its coastline, and one has been transformed to a school. So what was the reaction to those spaces?
Okay, so the group that I traveled with, our name is West Oakland to West Africa International Poetry Exchange. There were 10 of us poets traveling, and we were, when it came to those dungeons, we were all very, just didn't have words. Some people cried, some people, had different types of emotions that were happening with them, but we didn't see them as a dance. I didn't experience that. So I guess over time they just keep changing. So it was, just used for tourists and for people that were curious to find out about the dungeons, to actually go and visit and see the inside of the dungeons. So that was our experience. I mean, for me, it was very emotional. For me, I actually, it's what I wrote is true, that my tears didn't fall. They did fall the next day when we traveled to where our ancestors took their last bath. And I saw those horrific films. I was just, that's when my tears started to flow, and I cried like I couldn't believe that I could cry. But yeah, so that was, my experience and our group's experience. I hope I answered your question.
Oh, yes, thank you so very much. Has anyone been to Ghana? Oh,
No, I haven't, but I would love to.
oh, and what are your comments?
I guess when I was sitting here too, I was wondering, what does everybody has like a ghetto type of thing, so the least of them, what do they look like? I mean, it just reminds me of everything in where black folks are, dark-skinned folks are, that it has turned into America with folks. And that bothers me, because even when I traveled to Jamaica, I mean, I was, we had gotten flown together as a group, right? And where we were staying at, and you came outside and you saw nothing but the poorest of poor, and so it bothers me to see that they would be using something like that for dancing or school or as a black and African American coming from here to there, looking to and seeing something like that, just bothers me.
Before you answer,
I want to respond to her question. I just want to say, the Jewish community, they won't let us forget, and they won't let themselves forget the concentration camps in Germany. And they keep those concentration camps open. They keep it open for not only the Germans, but for people from all over the world that come there and see that hard situation. So they will never forget. The same thing with those Cape Coast castles, those dungeons. We need to keep that memory going and let people know that that's where our ancestors suffered at. And now that we coming, like in one of my lyrics in my songs, I say, we're coming back proud, free, black, and strong. So that era has passed, but we're coming back now proud, free, black, and strong to give homage and tribute to the ancestors.
To those of us who have been there, who have left here to go there, to be there for that. And I mean, if I'm going to come back strong, then I need to be there. I need to go there. I need to feel that. I need to see that. Not go there and see something other than that. that it's being used for something other than that. You know, it's almost should be like this museum. It should be forever. Because I need for it to touch me, like not just tears, but if there's going to be a spiritual connection, I need that to happen for me. Right?
I just wanted to say that did happen for some people. I mean,
Yes.
each individual, you have your own experience, and some people, aren't emotional behind that, but some people are very emotional. Some people are touched spiritually. I actually heard that, one woman said that she was with a group and she asked at some point if she could stay in the place, and she stayed. And her experience when everyone else left, that she was left by herself, that she actually connected with the ancestors. They talked with her. She felt their presence and she felt the spirituality. So I think that, that's individualized, and, you can't really decide, what the experience that you want to have. It's the experience that you have when you have it.
Let me say also, there's a conversation on heritage tourism that's taking place, particularly in the Ghanaian academies. How do they deal with this? But from the perspective of the nation state, how do they deal with these buildings that are there and they need to transform into a school? It's a learning experience. It's a painful one. It's a painful to even think that one of those entrepôts is being used as a dance hall. But that's a reality. And so there's adaptation to the needs at the very present time. When on one of my trips, it was BET was giving a series of jazz concerts. And one was in Capehart Castle Dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
That generated a lot of conversation, furor from some, but it forced us to think. We were celebrating going back. We had triumphed in some interesting way. We were the ones that were not expected to return.
Right.
But we came back. And we came back not only for ourselves, but our family members who would never make it back. So, so some of this is perspective. How do you think about and assess this? I'm trained in anthropology, so I'm going to look at it perhaps a little bit differently than most people. So I'm looking at how do people use it now? Why do they use it that way? And knowing that all of those artifacts, and the big building is an artifact, its meaning transforms a little bit over time as it morphs into different uses. So, do you have anything to say?
Well, I personally could not go in the dungeon. I just could not go in the dungeon. I couldn't deal with it. My two sons and my husband, they went, but I couldn't deal with it. I could not. I stay away from stuff that I find too painful.
It is painful.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, I just, are there any other questions? I think, yes, please, speak.
I was wondering when you went and if you plan on returning.
Yes, I traveled there in 2018. And yes, I plan to return. I plan to visit again. In fact, my husband and I are considering, moving to the continent. We're looking at Ghana very strongly, but we're also looking at other areas of the motherland. Yeah. So.
Let me say that, I congratulate you on your plans for looking you're returning home. I've been to Ghana maybe 60 or 70 times over the last 50 years. It's always invigorating for me because I'm touching base, I'm returning home. And so it's always a good experience, but it's always a learning experience. And so I always ask people, what are you searching for? And some people don't know that there's what they are searching for, but they're looking for a connection. When I look at the slides, and I listen to your poems, and I listen to your songs, it transported me back, and it gave me a good feeling, and so I have to return very soon. Thank you.
Yes. Any other comments? It doesn't have to be a question, it can be a comment. Welcome to ask.
Or can anyone share?
How many other countries, African countries you've been to, since you've been to Ghana so many times?
I've been to, in West Africa, Ghana, Togo, when it was called Dahomey, I went back a few times when it was called Benin. I've been to those countries repeatedly, as well as Burkina Faso and Niger a few times, and stopped in Liberia, but I can't claim to have visited there. But Cote d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast, and so and Senegal as well. But Egypt and Sudan on the northeast area.
Thank you.
So it's a way of touching base, and it's a way of understanding African Americans, and I think that's a key thing. So when I look at my grandmother's quilts, the old strip quilts, they would be pieced together and in strips, and then the strips would be sewn edge to edge to form the larger bed cover. You see kente woven in strips, some selvage to selvage, to become a larger piece that can be either wrapped as a garment, cut and sewn into a garment. But seeing that connection was very important because I knew that I had returned home, but I also appreciated the fact that home had never left me because I grew up with it.
Dale, I wanted to share a story about, I researched people down in South Carolina, the Gullah people. And the Gullah people down in South Carolina, they got a method of weaving baskets a certain kind of way with these certain type of patterns when they weave the baskets. But they didn't know the interpretation of the weave. They over the years and centuries, that interpretation of what that design means left them. They just forgot it. So some professor in Michigan was doing studies on them, and he went and took the baskets, photographs of the baskets, back to Africa, to where certain parts of these people came from back in Africa. And he was able to reveal the whole story of those baskets. Those baskets were actually telling the story, had a message to it. But the people that was actually still weaving it over the centuries didn't know the meaning. They had lost it, It took somebody who did the research to go back to Africa, take that material back to Africa and say, hey, these people in America are doing this here. And the people couldn't believe it, So, and one more thing I want to share with you. When I went to Kenya, I seen this young 12-year-old guy, young boy, and he came into me, he said, where you from? I said, I'm from America. He said, no, you ain't. I said, why do you think I ain't from America? He said, because only white people's from America. That way he told me, only white people from America. I said, man, we got 13 million black people living in America. Who do you think Muhammad Ali and Michael Jackson and all those people from? Now, he heard of those people,
So he kind of sparked his memory and said, okay, all right. But see, Africans don't know about us. They asking us, why are you coming back over here? Why are you coming back to Ghana? Because they are not understanding our history. They don't know the history of us being in slavery. They know some of it, but they don't know the in-depth part of it. So it's important that we come back and share with them what happened to us as a people, and so we can all be on the same accord, so we can be on the same page. And that's important at this point.
Very good. Thank you for that. Because even in Ghana, there are some stories that are silenced and that are not told. And so people that have made it from the interior or the northern part of the country, or even the central part of the country, and migrated down, who have now been incorporated into other families that are resident there, their experience is part of the international trafficking in African captives, or the so-called slave trade. And you can get into trouble by even bringing that discussion up. And so, to the extent that we refuse on the continent to face those discussions, and to the extent that we refuse to face those discussions here in the United States, it only fuels our ignorance and our continued psychological enslavement.
I agree. That's been my experience when I've been in school and colleges and come in contact with, I'm from New York and I came out of California, and you know, most of the time, you know, they don't even communicate. I mean, they'd rather be with my experience, white folks, you know, and they don't communicate effectively with me. I mean, like we're below them.
Well,
and
that
I don't
has to
care
do
how
with
dressed up
a lot of
you
the
get.
ones that can make it over here to go to college and come to the United States.
Those are the ones.
Those folks, they're upper middle class people. They're in Ghana, wherever they come from. They're upper middle class. They've been able and fortunate enough to be able to come to the States to study. And they are programmed and orientated before they come off this plane that, hey, you better be careful about those black people over there. So they tell them that until they come and get down, and the ones that come and move to the neighborhood and live in the hood, they become a part of us. You know, but there's folks that are come here and won't even want to socialize with us because they've been afraid. It's like how white folks told in Europe how to be afraid of black people here, you know? So that goes on and on, you know, but now it's the time
But then
for us to break that out, you know?
But then when you go over there to visit or want to, they're all looking like us. I don't want you looking like me, right? Looking like somebody that you don't communicate with. That you don't even know about. And you don't even try to find out about. Because of what somebody else.
That's part of the story, and it's real.
Obviously.
But I am so appreciative that I have been able to have engaging relationships over the years. I mean, over the decades now. And so part of it is the attitudinal stance that we take to the different sectors of Africa from the continent that we see here in America. Caroline?
Oh, no, I was going to say there's closer to 50 million today of us that live in the U.S. And we're going to do about America. Brazil has from 90 to 100 million black folks.
Well, I want to say thank you for letting us to return home.
You're welcome, Brother Ramadani. Okay, so if there are no more comments and no more questions, we can move to the next part of the program, which is the book signing. I believe that my friend Lillian is here. She's in the back. You can purchase the books from her. And then I'll be here at this table. I will sign them for you. Okay, thank you. Thank you all so much. Appreciate all you being here.